A warm welcome to all our viewers. I'm your host Pratiksha Mishra and you're watching another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India, a vibrant multi-faith nation, has sheltered Tibetan Buddhists since the Dalai Lama's exile in 1959. As His Holiness turns 90, we look at their remarkable journey from preserving culture in exile to shaping global peace and explore the pivotal role India may play in the future reincarnation of one of the world's most revered spiritual icons.
Dharamshala in northern India, nestled in the Himalayan foothills, came alive with devotion and color as it marked the 90th birthday of His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama. Home to the Tibetan exiled community for over 6 decades, the town became a spiritual haven, echoing with chants, prayer flags, and heartfelt tributes. For Tibetans, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, the Dalai Lama is more than a religious leader. He is a symbol of peace, compassion, and resilience. From young monks to elderly exiles, many gather to honor his life of non-violence and cultural preservation. As celebrations unfolded, they were also marked by reflection on a journey of exile and spiritual leadership. The Dalai Lama has clarified that a non-profit he founded will have sole authority to recognize his future reincarnation. In 1959, after a failed uprising against Chinese rule, the 14th Dalai Lama undertook a perilous journey across the Himalayas, fleeing Tibet to seek asylum in India. He was warmly welcomed by then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and eventually settled in the serene hill town of Dharamshala in Himachal Pradesh. Over the past 6 decades, Dharamshala has transformed into the global center of Tibetan Buddhism in exile, home to the Dalai Lama and a thriving Tibetan community. Today, nearly 70,000 Tibetans continue to live across India, preserving their language, culture, and spiritual traditions, even as they remain hopeful for a return to their homeland.
India is our biggest benefactor in all humanitarian support and all that. Then it's United States. Then there are several countries like Canada, Denmark, who supports us on education. There are so many institutions and organizations, individuals.
Hollywood actor and longtime Tibet supporter Richard Gere reaffirmed his unwavering commitment to the Tibetan cause. Gere, a practicing Buddhist and chairman of the International Campaign for Tibet, vowed to continue advocating for Tibetan rights and religious freedom even after the eventual passing of the Dalai Lama.
No, we continue. Look, we were blessed to have His Holiness as the leader. But, His Holiness has been very clear that at some point the body's going to fall apart for all of us. And we all have to be aware that His Holiness can't carry us on His shoulders forever. We have to carry ourselves and we have to carry each other. So we're all doing that.
During the birthday celebrations of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, emotions ran deep among Tibetans who had travelled from across the globe to pay tributes. For many, this milestone was not just a celebration, but a profoundly personal moment, an opportunity to reconnect with their spiritual guide, honor his unwavering commitment, to peace and compassion and reflect on the enduring strength of Tibetan identity in exile.
मैं तो बहुत खुश लगा दल्ला मुझे तो हम लोग खाली हम लोग तिब्बत का नहीं है जी ऑल वर्ल्ड का गुरु है दल्ला मुझे तो सबको मैं दुनिया को सबको देख रहा ना इंसान भी हो जो भी हो जानवर सबको दल्ला मुझे बहुत मीन्स क्या बोलेगा अभी बोल भी नहीं सकते वो उनका ना लाभ सबके लिए
I haven't been here for 20 years. I was here before 2005 and then this is my first time. And I was sitting here and to see His Holiness and full of tears in my face. Yeah, very special privilege to be here.
It's very important. I feel his Institute of Dalai Lama is continuous, of course. It's very, very important. So not even for the Tibetan people, it's important for this Mother Earth. So it's very important. It's continuous. He always promised the people of the Tibetans, special for the Tibetans and inside the Tibet and outside the Tibet, he always promised, I come. If I come in a free country, not in a dictatorship on other countries, he comes in a free country and he continues his 14th Dalai Lama's job left, he can continue what this is.
The Dalai Lama's birthday celebrations reflected more than just reverence. They embodied the hope, identity and spiritual strength of resilient people. With the question of succession on the horizon, Tibetans remain steadfast in their faith, committed to preserving their legacy and the teachings of their revered leader for generations to come.
Moving on. At a time when global power centers are shifting and regional flashpoints continue to dominate diplomatic agendas, India is once again leading from the front. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Shankar has concluded a critical visit to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Foreign Ministers meeting. From calling out terrorism in Pahalgam to flagging barriers in trade and connectivity, Jaishankar made it clear that India will cooperate but not compromise. Here's a full report on how New Delhi steered the SCO back to its core agenda.
In a region still reeling from strategic tensions and security setbacks, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar's first visit to China since 2020 carried deep diplomatic weight. Representing India at the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in Tianjin, Jaishankar set the tone for constructive dialogue, but also made it clear that India's core concerns could not be brushed aside. At the SCO plenary, Jaishankar's intervention was firm and focused. He reminded member states of the organization's founding mission and warned against selective silence. Jaishankar called on the member nations to take an uncompromising and united stance against what he referred to as the three evils: terrorism, separatism, and extremism. Stressing the real and urgent threat these forces continue to pose, Jaishankar cited the April 22nd terror attack in Pahalgam as a stark example.
SCO was founded to combat terrorism, separatism, and extremism. Not surprisingly, they often occur together. Recently, we in India witnessed a graphic example in the terrorist attack in Pahalgam on 22nd April 2025. It was deliberately conducted to undermine the tourism economy of Jammu and Kashmir while sowing a religious divide.
The Pahalgam attack, which claimed 26 lives, was not only an assault on civilians and religious harmony, but a calculated attempt to destabilize Kashmir's thriving tourism economy. India's tough position at SCO follows its decision to not sign the previous SCO joint statement that failed to even mention the attack, signaling a growing frustration with selective silence within the bloc. While Jaishankar didn't directly name Pakistan, his remarks were an unmistakable reference to Islamabad's role in fostering terror networks that continue to threaten India's sovereignty and regional peace. He warned that failure to act decisively would amount to a betrayal of the SCO's foundational mission.
The UN Security Council, of which some here are currently members, issued a statement that condemned it in the strongest terms and, quote, underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act of terrorism accountable and bring them to justice, unquote. We have since done exactly that and will continue doing so. It is imperative that the SCO, to remain true to its founding objectives, take an uncompromising position on this challenge.
India's message at the SCO was not limited to counter-terrorism. Jaishankar reiterated New Delhi's commitment to constructive engagement, highlighting India's leadership in areas like startups, digital public infrastructure, traditional medicine, and innovation. He said, India remains open to new proposals that genuinely promote collective progress. He also flagged a key economic hurdle, the lack of assured transit within the SCO region. Jaishankar emphasized the need for strengthening regional connectivity and called for active promotion of the international North-South transport corridor to boost trade and investment.
Deepening collaboration within the SCO naturally requires more trade, investment, and exchanges. For that to move to the next level, it is imperative that we address some current issues. One of them is the lack of assured transit within the SCO space. Its absence undermines the seriousness of advocating cooperation in economic areas. Another is to ensure the promotion of the International North-South Transport Corridor, INSTC. We are confident that it will continue to gather momentum.
The Foreign Minister's message extended to the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan, urging SCO members to increase development assistance. Regional stability, he noted, goes hand in hand with the well-being of the Afghan people, a nudge to nations like China and Pakistan, who have often viewed Afghanistan more as a strategic pawn than a humanitarian concern. On the sidelines of the SCO meeting, Jaishankar met with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi. This was his first visit to China since the deadly 2020 Galban clash that soured bilateral ties. Jaishankar acknowledged recent progress in de-escalating tensions along the line of actual control, but emphasized that further steps were needed.
We have made good progress in the past 9 months for the normalization of our bilateral relations. It is the result of the resolution of friction along the border and our ability to maintain peace and tranquility there. This is the fundamental basis of our mutual strategic trust and for smooth development of bilateral relations. It is now incumbent on us to address other aspects related to the border, including de-escalation.
Beyond diplomacy, India highlighted its leadership in technology, innovation, and digital public infrastructure. Jaishankar said India's engagement with SCO would continue in a spirit of mutual respect and territorial integrity, indirectly cautioning against China's disregard for established norms.
Time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
Elon Musk-owned Tesla launched its first showroom this week in India's financial capital, Mumbai. Earlier in the day, India's Western Maharashtra State Chief Devendra Fadnavis inaugurated the Tesla Experience Center in Mumbai's Bandra Kurla complex. India is the world's third largest car market, although electric vehicles comprise a very small slice, as concerns about easy accessibility of charging infrastructure deter many affluent buyers from going electric. Along with electric vehicles, Tesla will also develop 4 charging stations and ensure up-to-date delivery, logistics and servicing arrangements, said Fadnavis. Tesla is selling its Model Y cars in the country starting at about $69,770 as the electric vehicle giant gears up for busy roads still ruled by cars fueled by diesel and petrol. It will go head-to-head primarily with German luxury giants like BMW and Mercedes-Benz in the premium EV segment. Nissan Motor will stop producing vehicles at its Opama plant in Japan by March 2028 and transfer operations to its factory in the southern prefecture of Fukuoka as part of a global restructuring plan to cut capacity, it said on July 15. Nissan CEO Ivan Espinosa announced sweeping plans aimed at turning around the embattled automaker, including slashing global production capacity to 2.5 million vehicles from 3.5 million and manufacturing sites to 10 from 17. Espinosa said Nissan was exploring various options for repurposing the assets in negotiations with multiple partners, declining to elaborate, citing confidentiality agreements. When the Opama factory opened in 1961, it was one of Japan's first large-scale auto factories and a symbol of Nissan's and Japan's global ambitions. Long referred to as Nissan's mother factory, it employs 3,900 workers and has produced more than 17.8 million vehicles to date. Australia's army fired for the first time a truck-mounted launch-range rocket system that has become a priority for US allies in the Indo-Pacific, alongside US and Singapore forces firing the same system in joint war games. Armored trucks with HIMARS, high-mobility artillery rocket systems that can reach 400 kilometers, that is 250 miles, are in high demand in the Ukraine conflict and are also being acquired by US allies in the Indo-Pacific, including Australia, which is reshaping its forces to respond to China's military build-up. On the first day of Australia's largest war games, Talisman Sabre, the US, Australia, Japan, France, South Korea and Singapore held a live fire exercise in northern Queensland involving US F-35B fighter jets and land-based long-range strike rockets and missiles. Up to 40,000 troops from 19 nations are taking part in Talisman Sabre across thousands of kilometers from Australia's Indian Ocean territory of Christmas Island to the Coral Sea on Australia's east coast.
From remote villages to global markets, India's handicraft industry is weaving a vibrant tale of heritage, creativity and opportunity. Traditional skills are being reimagined with a modern flair, breathing new life into age-old art forms and creating both livelihoods and national pride. Join us as we explore how Indian artisans are crafting timeless masterpieces, preserving culture while inspiring the generations to come.
Zulfikar Alam, one among thousands of skilled artisans in Uttar Pradesh, has helped transform the small town of Nagina into India's renowned wood and craft city. Since 1971, he has been more than just a master craftsman. He's a guardian of Nagina's centuries-old wood carving tradition. At his workshop, over 70 artisans breathe life into blocks of wood, carving intricate pieces that reflect both heritage and precision.
मैं 71 से मैंने ये काम शुरू किया है. पहले काम सीखा 3-4 साल तक. उसके बाद हमने सप्लाई शुरू करी. मुरादाबाद के दिल्ली के एक्सपोर्टरों को माल सप्लाई करा और 92 से मैंने एक्सपोर्ट लाइसेंस लेकर डायरेक्ट एक्सपोर्ट शुरू किया.
Despite its modest size, Nagina is famed for its intricately carved wooden items, known for traditional designs and exceptional quality. Artisans here work magic, seasoning woods like shisham, teak and mango before meticulously carving them into durable decorative pieces. Today, around 8,000 to 10,000 artisans craft boxes, trunks, key holders and more, exporting their work to markets in the USA, Germany, the UK and the Gulf.
यहाँ का जितना भी प्रोडक्ट है उसका 90% एक्सपोर्ट होता है, 10% समझ लीजिए रिजेक्शन वगैरह का, जो वो लोकल मार्केट में या लोकल मार्केट के टेस्ट के हिसाब से हो। तो ये अच्छी बात है कि यहाँ का जितना भी प्रोडक्ट है वो एक्सपोर्ट ओरिएंटेड है, निर्यात ही होता है उसका।
यहाँ पे मुझे बहुत सारी चीज़ें पसंद आई, जैसे कॉफ़ी मग और कैंडल स्टैंड और बच्चों के लिए बहुत सारे गेम्स भी हैं यहाँ पे।
Believed to have originated during the British era, the city has now become a major hub for woodcraft. Government initiatives like Hunar Haat and craft fairs have helped promote the tradition while providing vital market access to expand its reach. In the remote villages of Jammu and Kashmir, a quiet revival is underway as youth engage in restoring the traditional chickadee woodcraft. With support from the Department of Handicrafts, hundreds in regions like Rajouri are receiving skill training under a special development program. India currently has 744 handicraft clusters, employing over 212,000 artisans and offering 35,000 plus unique products. The government is also providing financial aid and business loans to help artisans build craft-based enterprises in their hometowns.
बहुत बदलाव आएगा, क्योंकि इससे ये होगा कि ये जो सीख कर जाएंगे, एक एक आदमी को इनको अलावा ये 20-15 आदमी और 12 आदमी की एक सोसाइटी बना सकते हैं, तो 20 आदमी का तकरीबन 300-400 आदमी का और रोजी रोटी का मसला जो है हल हो जाएगा।
According to recent Statista report, India's woodcraft exports, an important part of the handicraft sector, rose significantly in financial year 2024, surpassing $1.78 billion. With skill training for youth and the development of world-class craft clusters, the handicraft sector is becoming a key driver of India's Vision 2047, boosting employment, preserving heritage and expanding exports.
Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is witnessing the quiet collapse of its print media industry, driven by state apathy, systemic exploitation and growing censorship. While Pakistan positions itself globally as a guardian of press freedom, the situation in POJK paints a starkly different picture. Newspapers are vanishing, journalists are being pushed to the brink, and truth itself is becoming a casualty. This report brings you voices from the ground and the harsh realities they face.
In Muzaffarabad, the once active hub of regional journalism, the print media is nearing extinction. Publications that once printed over 10,000 copies daily are now struggling to cross 900. Journalists are being sacked arbitrarily, denied fair wages, and made to operate under constant fear and uncertainty. Media house owners, meanwhile, continue to receive generous government funding, but these funds seldom reach the journalists. The financial crisis in POJK's media is not merely a business failure. It is a deliberate strangulation of free speech under Pakistan's watch.
प्रिंट मीडिया की जो है सूरत हाल जो है वो इंतहाई नाजुक हो चुकी है। साफियों का मालकान के साथ जो मामलात हैं इनके दरमियान वो इंतहाई कशीदा हैं, और मैं ये समझता हूँ कि मालकान का साफियों के साथ, वर्कर्स के साथ रवैया नाकाबिले बर्दाश्त है। आज़ाद कश्मीर में प्रिंट मीडिया की जो सूरत हाल ये है कि मुजफ्फराबाद में मेरा ख्याल है टोटल जो सारे अखबारात प्रिंट हो रहे हैं उनकी जो मुजफ्फराबाद में आ रहे हैं मार्केट में वो 1000 के बराबर भी नहीं है। इससे पहले ये तादाद जो है 10 से 12,000 15,000 तक थी, लेकिन आज सूरत हाल ये है कि ये 8 से 900 के दरमियान जो है ना ये सारे अखबारात की सर्कुलेशन है।
The situation has become untenable. While owners inflate circulation figures to claim subsidies, reporters are left without basic salaries. There is no wage security, no job protection, and no editorial freedom. Even minor deviations from the state-approved narrative can result in job loss. In a region where democratic rights are already suppressed, the erosion of press freedom further isolates the local population. What remains of journalism in POJK is tightly controlled, with little room for independent reporting.
मेरी ये गुजारिश है कि हुकूमत जो है ना वो अखबारी मालकान और साफ़ियों के दरमियान जो ये खलीज है इसको ख़त्म करने के लिए किरदार अदा करे और जो अखबारात के साथ मुंसलिक लोग हैं और उनकी जो कम से कम उजरत है 40,000 रुपये वो मुकर्रर की जाए और जो मालकान ये उजरत साफ़ियों को नहीं दे रहे उनके इश्तरात बंद किए जाएँ ताकि वो लोगों का इस्तेसाल न करें। खुद ही हुकूमत से हर साल जो है वो लाखों रुपए वसूल कर लेते हैं, लेकिन मुलाजमीन को वर्कर्स को देते हुए इनको वो बड़ी तकलीफ़ होती है। मेरी जो गुजारिश है अगर ज़िम्मेदारान आपकी मेरी हमारी ये बात सुन रहे हैं तो कि वो वज़ीर-ए-आज़म साहब, वज़ीर इत्तलाआत साहब, चीफ सेक्रेटरी साहब और जो PID के जो ज़िम्मेदारान हैं कि वो साफ़ियों के साथ जो रवैया है मालकान का इसका वो नोटिस लें, साफ़ियों को पूरी उजरत की अदायगी करें, वर्कर्स को जो तनख्वाह है जो उनको जो है वो कमीशन है वो दिया अदा किया जाए ताकि ये भी इंसान है और इनकी ये भी अपनी ज़िंदगी की जो है ना वो खुशियाँ और इनके बच्चों के जो मामला हैं उन पर वो तवज्जो दें।
What is unfolding in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir is not just media mismanagement, it is state-enabled suppression. The Pakistani establishment has failed to provide any safeguards for journalists. Instead, it has allowed a climate of fear, financial distress, and censorship to take root. Islamabad's claims of upholding press freedom and democratic values ring hollow when its occupied territories are witnessing the collapse of fundamental rights. In POJK, the press is not just being silenced, it is being systematically dismantled.
When newspapers vanish, bylines disappear, and fear becomes the ink, what falls silent today may never be heard again. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Till then, goodbye and take care.